I pushed open the front door and called, "Mia, I'm home early." I tried to sound cheerful, but my voice shook from the long day. I said, "I picked up your favorite food. I thought we could eat together." I stepped toward her with a small smile. Before I could speak again, her hand cracked across my face. I froze, my cheek burning. She screamed, "Don't touch me. You have no right to touch me." My mouth opened, but nothing came out. "Mia, what are you talking about?" I whispered. She backed away like I was poison. "I told you not to come near me," she said, her voice sharp and cold. "I just wanted dinner with you," I said quietly. "I don't care what you want," she snapped. My chest tightened as I asked, "Did I do something wrong?" She rolled her eyes and walked toward the bedroom. "Mia, wait. Please talk to me," I said, following her slowly. She stopped at the doorway. "There's nothing to talk about. Just leave me alone," I whispered. "I don't understand what's happening to us." She slammed the bedroom door. I stood in the hallway like a stranger in my own home. I knocked gently. "Mia, please. Tell me what's wrong." She answered through the door. "I don't want to look at you." Her words stabbed deeper than the slap. I said softly, "You weren't like this before. What changed?" She didn't reply. Silence pressed against me. I leaned my head on the door. "Talk to me. Please. I'm begging you." "Just go away," she said. I stepped back, feeling like the floor under me wasn't real. I whispered, "I came home early for you." She didn't respond. I walked to the kitchen, staring at the untouched food bags. I muttered, "Why are you pushing me away?" From the bedroom she shouted, "Stop acting like the victim." I swallowed hard. "I'm not acting. I'm just trying to fix this." She said, "Nothing needs fixing except you." My heart cracked a little more. I sat on the couch, letting out a shaking breath. I whispered, "Please don't hate me." She didn't answer. Only silence. I stayed there, replaying the slap again and again. My phone buzzed, and I hoped it was her. It wasn't. Just a work reminder. I said aloud, "Something is wrong. I feel it." I rubbed my face where she hit me. "I love you, Mia," I said softly, "but I don't know how much more I can take." Silence answered me again. I whispered, "Please don't break us." I waited another hour, listening for any sign she might come out. She didn't. I finally said, "Good night, Mia," even though I knew she wouldn't answer. I lay on the couch, staring at the dark ceiling. My heart whispered the truth. Something was already broken. I closed my eyes, trying to remember the last time she smiled at me. It felt like a lifetime ago. I whispered, "When did I lose you?" I waited for an answer my heart already knew wouldn't come. My phone lit up again, this time with a faint reflection of my swollen cheek. I sighed, "Why would you hit me for reaching for your hand?" The question echoed in my mind like a slow, painful drum. I said quietly, "If I did something wrong, just tell me." The apartment felt colder than ever. I whispered into the dark, "Please don't walk away from us." No reply. Only the hum of the quiet night. I curled on the couch, holding my chest like it might fall apart. I was still sitting on the couch when Mia walked out of the bedroom. She grabbed her jacket without looking at me. I asked softly, "Where are you going this late?" "Out," she said. "For what?" I asked. She sighed. "I need fresh air." "Don't wait up." I stood slowly. "Mia, it's almost midnight." "So," she said, opening the door. I whispered, "Are you okay?" She didn't answer. She just left. My chest tightened. Something in her voice felt wrong. I muttered, "Fresh air doesn't need secrets." I grabbed my shoes and followed her outside, keeping my distance. "Mia, what are you doing?" I whispered to myself as she walked faster. The streetlights flickered, and my hands shook. I kept hearing her slap in my head. I whispered, "Why can't you just talk to me?" She didn't look back once. After a few blocks, she turned toward a quiet street near the old bakery. My heart sank. "No, please no," I said under my breath. She stopped next to a dark parked car. I hid behind a wall, barely breathing. The car door opened, and a man stepped out. When I saw his face, my stomach dropped. "Mr. Rowan," I whispered. "My boss. The man who always told me to focus more, work harder, stay late. The man who smiled too much when he talked about Mia." He walked up to her, smiling. "Mia, you're late," he said. She laughed softly. "I had to deal with him." "Him?" he asked. "My husband," she said. I felt the words stab straight into me. Rowan touched her cheek. "Is he still clueless?" She nodded. "Completely." I wanted to walk out and scream, "I'm right here," but my legs wouldn't move. Rowan pulled her into a hug. I covered my mouth to stop myself from making a sound. He whispered, "I missed you." She whispered back, "I missed you too." Then he kissed her. My world shattered. I leaned against the wall, whispering, No, Mia, why?" My hands shook so hard I almost dropped my phone. My whole body felt like it was on fire and frozen at the same time. Rowan said, "Did he bother you again?" She scoffed. "He tried talking to me." "And?" he asked. I told him not to touch me. He smirked. "Good. He shouldn't." My breath caught. I whispered, "How could you say that about me?" Mia crossed her arms. "He's different now. Weak. No spark." Rowan said, "He was always boring." She laughed. "You're terrible." "Only for you," he said, kissing her forehead. I felt sick. My head spun. I muttered, "This wasn't a mistake. This is real. This is happening." The truth hit me like another slap. This wasn't new. Her distance, her anger, her cold eyes, all of it had a reason. A reason standing right there with his hands on her waist. Mia whispered, "We need to be careful. He's starting to notice things." Rowan snorted. "He won't do anything. He doesn't have the guts." My teeth clenched. "You don't know me," I whispered. "You don't know what I feel right now." Mia asked, "When can we leave this mess behind?" Rowan replied, "Soon. Let me handle everything at work first." My heart dropped again. "At work?" I whispered. "So this is connected. This is bigger than I thought." Mia said, "I just want a life where I don't have to pretend anymore." Rowan pulled her closer. "You'll have it. Trust me." She leaned into him like she never leaned into me. I whispered, "I'm right here. I'm watching you throw everything away." But they couldn't hear me. They didn't care. Rowan opened the car door. "Get in," he said. She smiled. "Always." They drove off, leaving me standing in the cold. My legs finally gave out, and I dropped to the curb. I whispered, "What did I do to deserve this?" No answer came. Only the empty street and the echo of my breaking heart. I stumbled into the apartment, barely able to breathe. I whispered, "How could she do this to me?" I ran my hands through my hair. I saw it. I saw everything. My voice cracked as I said, "It all makes sense now. The distance, the slap." I paced the living room. Why didn't I see it sooner? The bedroom door creaked open. Mia stepped out. I said, "Mia, we need to talk." She didn't look at me. "Mia, please," I said again. "I know about you and Rowan." She froze for a second, but kept walking toward the kitchen. I followed her. "I saw you meet him. I saw you kiss him." She opened the fridge like I wasn't even speaking. I asked, "Do you have anything to say?" She sighed. "I'm not doing this right now." I whispered, "Why him? Why my boss?" She grabbed a bottle of water. "Go to sleep, Ethan. Stop acting like nothing happened." I shouted. She turned, her eyes cold. I said, "I'm not talking about this." My throat tightened. "You don't care, do you?" She walked past me. "You're making a scene." I grabbed the back of the chair to steady myself. "I'm your husband." "And?" she asked. I choked on the silence that followed. She headed back to the bedroom and shut the door again. I pressed my palms to my face. What did I do wrong? I whispered to the empty room. Why wasn't I enough? I sat on the floor, shaking. I should have been better, right? I should have seen it. My own voice echoed back at me. No, I argued with myself. I loved her. I tried. I gave everything. Another voice in me replied, but maybe everything wasn't enough. I clenched my jaw. Stop blaming yourself, Ethan. I looked at the ceiling. Then who do I blame? My phone buzzed on the table. I wiped my eyes and answered. Hello. Liam's voice came through. Dude, you sound dead. What happened? I swallowed hard. It's Mia. What about her? He asked. She's cheating on me, I whispered. What? With who? My boss. There was a long pause. Liam finally said, Tell me everything. I told him about the car, the hug, the kiss, the words I wished I never heard. When I finished, he sighed. Man, I'm so sorry. I said, What do I do? First breathe, he said. Don't make any sudden moves. I shook my head. I want answers. And you'll get them, he said, but not while you're this broken. I whispered, I feel like a fool. You're not, he said. She's the one messing up, not you. My voice trembled. I don't even know who she is anymore. Liam said, Sleep. Tomorrow we figure things out. I whispered, Thanks, man. Anytime, he replied before hanging up. I lay on the couch again, staring at the shadows on the ceiling. My mind kept replaying Rowan touching her face, hearing her laugh for him. Laugh in a way she hadn't laughed for me in months. I whispered, "How long has this been happening?" Morning came too fast. My eyes burned as I walked into the office. Rowan stood near my desk. He smiled. "Morning, Ethan." The smile made my blood boil. I said, "Morning," forcing the word out. He asked, "Rough night?" I stared at him. "Something like that." He patted my shoulder. "You'll survive." I flinched at his touch. He walked away, whistling. My phone buzzed again. A message from Mia. "Don't wait for me tonight." No explanation. No emotion. I whispered, "I'm losing her, and she doesn't even care." I sat at my desk, hands shaking, heart hollow. Trust was gone. Hope was dying. And I had no idea what the next day would bring. I stood in the kitchen staring at Mia as she crossed her arms and said, "You're doing it again, you know." I blinked and asked, "Doing what?" She sighed loudly, shaking her head like I was some exhausting project. Being controlling. Being insecure. It's suffocating me. My chest tightened, and I tried to speak calmly. "I'm asking because I saw you last night. You and Rowan." She cut me off. "You didn't see anything. You imagined it because you're jealous." I stepped back like her words slapped me harder than her hand ever had. I rubbed my face and whispered, "I'm not twisting anything." She fired back, "Really? Then why have I felt distant from you for months?" "Because you keep pushing, questioning, monitoring me." I frowned. "I wasn't monitoring you." She pointed at me aggressively. "You were. And now you're trying to make me feel guilty for your paranoia." My voice cracked. "I'm just trying to understand what's happening to us." She rolled her eyes. "What's happening is you don't trust me, and I'm tired of it. Maybe you should figure out your own issues before accusing me of anything." I felt the ground shifting under me. "Mia, I'm not imagining Rowan touching you." She turned away. "Believe whatever you want. I'm done talking about this." Her footsteps echoed down the hallway, leaving me standing alone in the silence that accused me louder than her words. At work, Rowan cornered me near the conference room. "You're behind on the reports," he said sharply. I stared at him in disbelief. "You gave them to me yesterday with a 24-hour deadline." He smirked. "And think fast. That's what you're paid for." I clenched my jaw. "This is impossible." He leaned closer. "Then maybe you're not the right fit here." His tone was smooth, like he enjoyed every second of this. I stepped back before I said something I'd regret. "I'll get it done," I muttered. He patted my shoulder like he owned me. "Good boy." I walked to my desk trembling with frustration. While I opened the files, Sarah from the next cubicle peeked over the divider. "Hey," she said softly, "you look rough." I forced a smile. "Just a long morning." She tilted her head. "Looks like more than that." I sighed. "Rowan's piling things on." She scoffed. "He does that when he wants someone gone." I froze. She noticed. "Sorry, I shouldn't have said it like that." I whispered, "No, you're right." She pulled her chair closer. "Is something else going on? You look like you're carrying a boulder on your back." I hesitated before answering. "My wife and I, things are bad." She nodded without prying. "If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. Work shouldn't feel like this, and home shouldn't feel worse." Something inside me cracked a little. "Thanks. I mean it." She gave me a small smile. "You're not alone, okay?" For the first time all day, I felt like someone actually saw me. I breathed out slowly and whispered, "I hope you're right." She hesitated before speaking again. "You don't have to tell me everything, but I can see you're hurting." Feeling my throat tighten, I whispered, "It's like every time I try to explain myself, someone twists it back on me." She whispered, "That's not normal, you know." I exhaled shakily. "I'm starting to wonder if I'm losing my mind." She watched me carefully. Slowly. I stared at the stack of papers on the counter, my hands shaking as I whispered, "What is this, Mia?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "Probably another thing you're overthinking," she said. I unfolded the first receipt. "A hotel? 2 nights. Under your name." She shrugged. "Work trip." I held up the second one. "Another hotel. Different date. Same room number." She sighed. "You're digging for things that aren't there." I opened my phone with trembling fingers. Then explained the calls at midnight. She laughed bitterly. "Work emergencies, obviously." I swallowed. "Work emergencies that last 40 minutes? Work emergencies where you whisper." She finally lowered her phone. "Are we doing this now?" I whispered. "I found messages, Mia. Hidden. Deleted. You saved the wrong backup." I backed away. "I'm not insane." I can read. I can hear. I'm finding things I never wanted to find. She snapped, because you're obsessed. I whispered, because you're lying. She grabbed the receipts, crumpling them. You know what? Fine. Yes. I was with Rowan. The words echoed like a gunshot. I swallowed hard. You admit it? She rolled her eyes. Why do you sound surprised? You've been accusing me long enough. My voice broke. You said I imagined everything. She crossed her arms. I said what I had to say because you kept pressuring me. My chest tightened. So I wasn't imagining anything? She muttered. Not everything. Her words sliced through me. Alive. I whispered. She nodded. Yes. He listens. He sees me. He makes me feel something. I felt my knees go weak. Why didn't you tell me you were unhappy? She scoffed. Every time I tried, you got emotional or defensive. I shook my head. I was trying to fix things. She looked away. Well, you didn't. I gasped, barely breathing. Was any of it real? She whispered. It was until it wasn't. I sank onto the floor, stunned. So you're choosing him? She hesitated before saying, I'm choosing myself. She grabbed her keys. I need space. I begged, Mia, don't walk out right now. She opened the door without turning back. I can't do this with you anymore. Then she was gone. The silence swallowed me whole. I slid down until my back hit the cabinets, and I buried my face in my hands. My breath came out in broken gasps. I choked out. Why? Why wasn't I enough? My phone buzzed, but I didn't move. It buzzed again, and I finally reached for it. Grace's name filled the screen. I answered with a shaky mom. Her voice was soft. Honey, are you okay? You sound terrible. I wiped my eyes. Mom, she admitted it. Grace inhaled sharply. Oh, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. My chest tightened again. I don't know what to do. She said, come stay with me. Please. You shouldn't be alone right now. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see. I can't. I need to stay here. I need to think. Grace's voice trembled. You don't have to be strong for me. Let me help. I whispered. I'm not strong. I'm just broken. She sighed softly. Promise you'll call if it gets worse. I nodded. I promise. She whispered. I love you. I whispered back. I love you too. When the call ended, the house felt colder than ever. I stared at the door Mia had walked through and whispered to myself, what happens to me now? I sat there trembling, unable to gather the pieces of myself. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the dim light creeping through the curtains, and whispered, I can't keep living like this. Saying it aloud felt strange, but necessary. I rubbed my face and muttered, either I stay broken or I start moving. My voice sounded thin, but at least it existed again. When my phone buzzed, I answered without thinking. Ethan. Sarah's voice carried a quiet concern. I exhaled. Yeah, I'm here. She hesitated. I checked those reports you mentioned. Rowan's been rerouting project funds. I don't know how deep it goes, but it's wrong. I pressed my hand against my forehead. So it isn't just my life he's wrecking. She replied, you're not imagining things. You never were. I whispered, thank you. Liam called next. The moment I heard his voice, my throat tightened. Man, please tell me you're not sitting in the dark again. I sighed. I'm sitting in the dim, not the dark. He groaned. Same thing. Look, you need to breathe. And you need to stop pretending this marriage can be saved. I shook my head. I'm not pretending anymore. He paused. Then file for divorce. Hearing the word made my stomach twist. It feels like failure, I admitted. Liam said gently. No, it feels like freedom once you get through the fire. I whispered, I'm scared. He replied, of course you are. Do it anyway. After we hung up, I stared at the silence he left behind, letting his words settle into me like seeds I hadn't asked for. I stood slowly, walked to the bathroom mirror, and studied the tired version of myself. You look like a ghost, I muttered. My hair hung uneven and messy. I picked up scissors. Screw it. The first cut felt terrifying. The second felt lighter. By the time I finished, I barely recognized myself, but for the first time in weeks, I didn't hate the reflection. I cleaned the sink, then the counter, then the hallway. Something inside me kept whispering, keep going. I opened the windows, letting fresh air in. I gathered Mia's forgotten things into a box and whispered, I'm not holding pieces of you anymore. My chest tightened, but the pain didn't crush me like before. Sarah texted, be careful. Rowan won't stay quiet if he realizes you're digging. I replied, I won't be quiet either. Sending it felt like stepping onto unfamiliar ground, but it didn't shake beneath me. I grabbed my laptop and started documenting every detail, dates, receipts, emails. I muttered, if I'm going down, I'm not going alone. Hours passed. My apartment felt different, like it belonged to me again. I stood in the center of the living room and whispered, maybe I'm not as weak as I thought. My voice didn't crack this time. Liam called again. How's the hair? He asked. I laughed weakly. Short. Terrible. Liberating. He chuckled. Good. Keep going. When the sun finally dipped behind the buildings, I sat on the couch and let the quiet settle around me. I'm still hurt, I told the empty room. But I'm waking up. Saying it didn't fix everything, but it anchored something inside me, something solid. I whispered one final promise to myself. I won't stay silent anymore. I stood up again, feeling a strange warmth in my chest, and said, tomorrow I start the real fight. The words surprised me, but they felt right. I paced the room slowly. I'm not losing myself for them anymore. Each step felt steadier, as if my body remembered strength before my mind did. This time I choose me. Finally. I stood in the hallway outside the boardroom, my hands shaking, and whispered, I can't believe this is happening. Sarah nudged me gently. You're doing the right thing. Stay calm. I swallowed. Right thing? It feels like revenge. She shook her head. It's justice. I took a deep breath and pushed the door open. Mr. Ethan, Miss Sarah, Ms. Hale greeted, her sharp eyes scanning us. Please present your findings. I cleared my throat. I've noticed discrepancies in project budgets and unauthorized expense reports. I showed the documents, receipts, and emails we had collected. Sarah added, Rowan has been rerouting funds and manipulating contracts for months. Ms. Hale leaned forward, frowning. This is serious. Are you certain of the dates and sources? I met her gaze. Every document is verifiable. She nodded slowly. We'll begin an investigation immediately. I stepped back, my chest tight. Sarah whispered, It's starting, Ethan. They won't escape this. I exhaled shakily. I want it to be fair. Not brutal. She smiled faintly. It will be fair, and that's enough. Later that week, Rowan started panicking. I saw him pacing near the elevators, phone pressed to his ear. What do you mean they're auditing everything? No. His voice echoed down the hall. I whispered to myself, this is karma. He slammed his office door, muttering threats. I felt a mix of satisfaction and emptiness. It didn't erase the months of pain, but it mattered. Meanwhile, rumors about Mia began to spread quietly. Coworkers whispered when I walked by. Did you hear about her? Someone asked. I ignored them, but my stomach twisted. Later, I overheard her phone call. Rowan, please don't pull back now, she pleaded. A cold silence followed. She whispered again, No, I can't, yes, and hung up. I realized she was losing him too. Her social events stopped showing her in the same circles. I whispered, It's catching up to her. Sarah met me after work. You look better today, she said softly. I managed a small smile. A little. We walked through the park, letting the evening air calm me. Ethan, she said carefully, you deserve better than someone who betrays you. I shook my head. It's hard to accept after everything. She stopped and looked at me. I know, but you survived. You're stronger than you think. I whispered, I feel human again almost. She smiled faintly. Good. That's the start. The next morning, I saw Rowan being escorted from the office by security. He shouted, This isn't over, but the words fell flat. I whispered to myself, It's over for now. Sarah stood beside me quietly, letting me process it. I said, He looked terrified. She chuckled softly. He should be. Mia sent another message that evening. Don't contact me. I stared at it, feeling nothing but a hollow emptiness. I whispered, I'm done waiting for her to notice me. Sarah nudged me. Come on, let's grab a coffee. You've earned a break. I nodded, letting myself follow her. For the first time in weeks, I laughed, small, shaky, but real. Okay, I said. Coffee sounds good. We sat in the cafe, sipping quietly. I whispered, I'm still healing, but it doesn't feel impossible anymore. She smiled. That's progress. I looked at her, thinking about everything. I never thought I'd get here again. She tilted her head. You deserve it, Ethan. You deserve to feel safe, to feel respected. I nodded slowly. I want that, even if it's just a little at a time. She reached out briefly, a comforting hand on mine. One step at a time. I whispered, Yeah, one step at a time. Outside, the city lights flickered. Rowan's empire was crumbling. Mia was losing her grip, and I, shattered and bruised, was starting to reclaim myself. For the first time, I felt like the world might let me breathe again. The doorbell rang, sharp and unexpected. I opened it to see Mia, her eyes red, cheeks streaked with tears. Ethan. She started, her voice trembling. I stepped aside silently, letting her in, though a strange numbness settled over me. You're here, I said flatly. She sniffled. I wanted to explain. Rowan, he's gone. He left me. I blinked, staring at her. And you think that changes anything? She shook her head frantically. No, I had to tell you. I made a mistake. I held up a hand. Stop. Her lips quivered. Please, Ethan, I'm sorry. I know I hurt you. I nodded slowly. I know. She stepped closer, hesitating, then grabbed my hand. I want to start over. Please. Can we try again? My fingers loosened around hers. Mia. I can't. She looked shocked, her hands falling. You can't. I shook my head gently. No. I'm different now. Her eyes searched mine. Different how? I whispered. I'm not broken anymore in the way you think I am. She stepped back, wiping her tears. I don't understand. I exhaled slowly. You don't have to. It doesn't matter anymore. She sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. I thought we'd always fix it, she muttered. I knelt beside her, careful to keep my distance. Sometimes things can't be fixed, I said softly. Not by apologies. Not by promises. Not by tears. She peeked up, voice shaking. So, you're not angry? I shook my head. No. There's no anger left. She whispered. No love either? I stared at her, the emptiness inside me strange but quiet. No love. Just space. Clarity. Relief. She didn't move. The silence stretched between us. I thought I'd feel rage, I confessed. I thought I'd scream, break things, cry endlessly. But it's nothing. I feel nothing. She blinked, her hands clenching her knees. You're calm. I smiled faintly. I think I finally stopped bleeding. Her voice softened. It's strange to hear you say that. I shrugged, my chest feeling light. It's stranger to feel it. I'm free from the weight I carried for months. Free from you, from Rowan, from everything. She reached toward me again. Ethan, maybe we could start over tomorrow, if not today. I held up a hand gently. No, Mia. Tomorrow is mine. I have to build myself. I can't build us anymore. Her lips quivered as she nodded. I understand. I watched her for a long moment. I hope you find your own peace too, I whispered. She gave a small, sad smile. I will try. She stood, looking at me one last time. I'm sorry. Truly. I nodded. I know. That's enough. She turned, opened the door, and left. I didn't follow, didn't call out. I closed the door slowly and leaned against it. The quiet was heavy, but it didn't hurt. My apartment no longer felt like a prison. It felt like a home reclaimed. I walked to the window and looked at the city lights. I survived her. I survived Rowan, I whispered to myself. And I survived me. I ran a hand through my short hair, feeling the edges of my transformation in every motion. My reflection in the glass showed a man who had been broken and had rebuilt himself, piece by piece. I exhaled. I'm still bruised, still learning, but I'm awake now. Sitting on the couch, I finally let the tension drain from my shoulders. I whispered softly. The wound stopped bleeding. I can breathe. The emptiness in my chest was not loneliness. It was clarity, strength. I smiled faintly to myself, the first real smile in months. I'm free, and for the first time, it felt like enough. The courtroom smelled like polished wood and tension. I sat upright, my hands folded, heart steady despite the chaos inside me. Mia sat across from me, tears streaming down her face, whispering to her lawyer. Ethan, please don't do this, she cried. I stared at her calmly. Mia, this is necessary. She looked up, shock in her eyes. Necessary? After everything? I nodded slowly. Yes. For me. For my life. Her sobs echoed, but I didn't flinch. Judge Ray cleared his throat. We're here for the final divorce hearing. Are both parties ready? I whispered. Yes, Your Honor. Mia's lawyer stammered. Your Honor, we request reconsideration. Judge Ray shook his head. Proceeding as scheduled. I exhaled silently. The weight of months and years of betrayal pressed on my shoulders, but I didn't let it crush me. Not today. Mia's lawyer tried again. My client, she, wants reconciliation. There's still love. I cut in, voice calm. With respect, Your Honor, reconciliation is impossible. The trust is gone. Mia's eyes widened. Ethan, please. I kept my gaze steady. No. I'm done being manipulated, hurt, and humiliated. The courtroom fell silent. Her tears seemed desperate now, but my heart felt detached. I whispered to myself, it's over. Finally. The judge nodded. The court acknowledges your statements. The divorce is granted. I exhaled, a strange mix of relief and quiet satisfaction. Mia's lips quivered. You're cruel, she said, voice breaking. I shook my head. I'm not cruel. I'm free. Her tears glistened, but I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just clarity. I stood, feeling my spine straighten. This ends here, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. Outside the courtroom, sunlight poured over the steps, warm and forgiving. I blinked, letting it wash over me. Liam waited, arms crossed, a grin spreading across his face. Man, you did it, he said. You look lighter. I let a small smile slip. I feel it. Lighter. Free. He nodded approvingly. You survived her. And Rowan. Everything. I laughed softly, a sound I hadn't realized I'd missed. Yes. Everything. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Sarah. I glanced down at the message. Congratulations. Dinner tonight? You deserve to celebrate. I typed back quickly. I'll be there. Smiling, I slipped the phone into my pocket. The thought of spending time with someone who actually saw me, who respected me, felt thrilling. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. I was walking on sunlight. We started down the steps. Liam nudged me. You look different. Confident. Like you own your life. I exhaled. I do own it now. Finally. No more chains. No more lies. No more pain dictating my choices. Liam chuckled softly. That's the man I remember, before everything went to hell. I nodded, letting the warmth in my chest grow. I've been asleep too long. Now I'm awake. As we reached the sidewalk, I noticed people bustling past, each absorbed in their own lives. And for the first time, I didn't feel trapped by my own past. I whispered, I'm free. Truly free. The air felt different, brighter, lighter, filled with possibility. I lifted my head higher, letting the sun catch my face. This is my life now, I whispered. No apologies, no regrets. Just me. Liam clapped me on the back. Ready to grab that coffee with Sarah? I smirked. More than ready. I think I can finally enjoy myself. My chest felt unburdened, every step lighter than the last. The city stretched out before me, endless and inviting. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I walked forward without looking back, knowing I had finally broken free from every chain that had held me down. The mornings now feel different. I wake without dread, without a heavy weight pressing on my chest. The apartment smells fresh, sunlight spilling across the floor, and I can breathe without remembering betrayal at every turn. Sarah stops by most afternoons. Coffee, she asks with that easy smile. I nod. Yeah, let's sit for a while. We talk about work, small things, nothing heavy, nothing forced. Just conversation. I'm learning to enjoy simple moments again. One evening, she said, You've changed, Ethan. There's a calm in you now. I looked at her, a soft smile tugging my lips. I guess. I survived everything. That changes a man. She tilted her head. You seem lighter. I exhaled, watching the city lights flicker. I am. I didn't take revenge. I just set myself free, and that was enough. She smiled faintly, just listening, letting me speak without judgment. I realized that was what mattered, being heard, understood, without pressure. Rowan is gone now. Fired, humiliated, scrambling to pick up the pieces of a life he thought he controlled. I heard through office whispers, he's bitter, broken, desperate. I don't feel satisfaction, not really. It's not why I did what I did. His downfall doesn't heal me. I walk past his old office floor and feel nothing. Peace, maybe, or indifference. Both feel foreign, yet good. Mia moved back to her parents. Rumors circulate, as they always do. I don't care. Her choices, her regrets, her pain, they aren't mine anymore. I let the past stay behind closed doors. She might call, she might not. Either way, it no longer defines my life. Freedom feels strange. I whispered to myself one evening, staring at the empty apartment, the quiet so comforting. But it's a welcome kind of strange, the kind that signals growth. I meet Liam for lunch sometimes. You look happy, he says, more observing than questioning. I shrug lightly. I feel content. Not whole, not perfect, but content. That's something. He nods. It's more than most get after what you've been through. I chuckle softly, thinking of months of pain, nights I cried alone, mornings I wondered if I'd survive my own heartbreak. I finally know I can survive anything. Sarah sits across from me, hands around her cup. Do you ever think about them? She asks gently. Rowan? Mia. I sip coffee slowly. Sometimes. But it's different now. Memories don't sting anymore. She nods. Good. That's progress. I smile faintly. Yeah, it's progress. We sit in silence, a comfortable pause, no expectations. I feel no rush, no pressure. Only the warmth of companionship that doesn't demand, doesn't judge. I take evening walks alone sometimes, tracing the paths of old habits and replacing them with new ones. The city lights feel like a promise. Each step is mine. The freedom I earned isn't flashy or loud. It's quiet, almost invisible. Yet it's everything. I whisper, I'm finally mine. And I mean it fully, without doubt. No chains, no echoes of betrayal, just the soft hum of life returning. The apartment grows dim as night falls. I sit by the window, the city stretching below. Sarah sends a message, good night. Sleep well. I type back, good night. Thank you for being here. My phone rests beside me, silent now. I exhale slowly, feeling the full weight of months lift. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need punishment. I only needed me, and finally, I have that. I lean back, closing my eyes, letting the quiet fill every corner of my chest. Healing doesn't roar, it whispers. And tonight I listen. I survived. I grew. I reclaimed myself. And that is enough.